Hello everyone, good morning, namaskaram and welcome to today's Vishwa Talk. My name is Prerna and I thank you for taking the time today to join us. For those of you who have attended a Vishwa Talk before, a warm welcome back. And for those of you who are joining us for the first time, here is a little bit about us. Vishwa Talks is a space to expand the horizons of your mind. Every webinar, we call experts from different domains to discuss and examine opinions, issues, problems, and perspectives. Each webinar is an interactive session where we all walk away with more respect for each other and a deeper understanding of the topic at hand. Vishwa Talks is a free live webinar where we believe it should be an open forum for all to seek value and make a difference in their life and in society. As per latest NCRB report, in 2021, 1.63 lakh committed suicide compared to 1.58 lakhs in 2022. In 2020, the number has been increasing year after year. This year on World Suicide Prevention Day, that is September 10th, Vishwa is determined to bring hope with action. And when we talk about hope with action, who better than pioneer non-profit organization than Roshni Trust? Roshni Trust has been working to support mental health aid to people in Hyderabad from the last 3 decades. Initiative like Psychiatry at Your Doorsteps, free camps for underprivileged, has been milestone actions to curb the suicide and mental illness rates, not just in the city, but to the underprivileged outskirts areas as well. Today, we are joined and we are honored to have Mrs. Anita MuktaaShourya at Vishwa Talks. She's an organizational development consultant and a life coach consultant. Anita MuktaaShourya is the founder of Lasya Darta Center for Performing Arts. Her book, To Win Your Battles, Stay Alive, is a heartfelt penning down of ways to climb your way through the same. She's a speaker on TEDx and several other platforms, inspires many to not give up. Who better than the strong woman and life coach who battled it herself? Anita MuktaaShourya walks us through her journey in this week's Vishwa Talks today on mental health. We are honored to have you on Vishwa Talks now. Before we get started, I would like to inform our audience that our speaker will be taking questions from you after our main talk. So please leave your questions in the chat box. It will be an interactive session. Take the maximum value out of it for yourself, for your friends, for your family. Because we all need to be receptive of what others are going through. We all need to be kind to everyone around us. Now, without further ado, I may invite our speaker to please start today's Vishwa Talk.
Thank you so much, Prerna, for this I would say, a very kind and beautiful introduction that you've given me. Before I begin, I would just like to throw light on what Prerna had said, that Vishwa Talks, we have experts coming in to speak. I would just like to make it very clear that I'm an expert in my domain, and trust me, my domain is not mental health, psychiatry, psychology, or counseling. However, I'm a person who has lived what many people fear. I came out of something that many people think is the end. And I came out only because I understood and made the right choices of trusting the experts, and that is the doctors, counselors, psychologists. And together as a team, they helped me to survive what I experienced, and that is depression. So if we could just have the slide starting. I would today like to take you all through the whole, the experience of what depression has been for me. And this experience is also based on, today I would call it the opportunity. Each time I went for my sessions of treatment with my psychiatrist, I had the opportunity to interact with other patients who are experiencing the same, that is depression. As I got to talk with them, I realized that we go through something very similar. Only thing that symptoms could be a little different, reasons could be different, And that brought about a deeper understanding of what I was experiencing. And also the social stigma that hovers around this very scary, a taboo that several people think it is. So what I would be doing is I would be taking you through 5 points today. We can move on to the next slide. And the first, I would like to speak about the fact that I lived it. I am the person who lived it, and not the people who judged me or branded me as somebody who has a mental issue. When they said mental issue, they had only one meaning, that she's mad. When I lived it, how did it all start? It was, I think, a time when I could, today I would never like to turn back and be in that moment, because I still remember a time when, darkness was uh, the best moment of my life, because even during the day, my world was totally dark. I could not, the light was too much for me. When I see people doing their daily chores, doing, being engaged in what they could do, I could not. And that was very frightening to me. So darkness became my favorite companion. Another thing that I really liked was silence. Silence was really nice to me because everybody else was too loud. So, apart from darkness and silence, there was another thing that I really liked, and that was staying away, because I did not want to be seen as this person who was getting frightened, who was getting weaker by the day, and at the same time, a person who could not even do the, I would say, the menial tasks of even brushing my teeth, having a shower. A person, as I was, very happy, go lucky, laughing at everything, very organized, very disciplined, and routine oriented. One fine day, I just woke up to realize that no, I went to the to take a shower. I just stood there with the water running. I couldn't. My eyes were just filling. And the sadness that engulfed me, I would say, it just went, it was like a, today, if I were to describe it, I just felt like a person who did not know how to swim was pushed into the deep end of the pool, and somebody was just pushing my head down into that water. I was struggling. I couldn't breathe. My heart rate, I felt, it may be my feeling, but I could hear my heartbeat in my ear. I felt that breathlessness. It was terrible for me to feel. But who could I tell this to? Because I was a mother of two little children. The first thing, if I even spoke to anybody, even my family, they would say, oh yeah, all this is your feeling, So make sure the children don't come to know about it, because they are small. If they see a mother who is weak, if they see their mother going through this, what is going to happen to them? The mother in me wanted to be was protective over my children. I did not want them to know what I was going through. And at the same time, I had people telling me everything was my feeling. So, what is it that I was experiencing that was probably a hallucination? I was going, oh my God, was I going mad? And there were people who told me that, Ani, you are going mad. Something is wrong with you. Look at your face, look at your eyes. Something is not wrong. But then what happens is, can we have have the point scrolling on the screen, please? Yeah, when I say I lived it, people started judging me by saying that, something, maybe she's so used to getting everything her way. And when she's not getting things her way, she's just throwing a tantrum. Or maybe she wants to gain attention. She's an attention seeker. Oh, she's a drama queen. These are the terms that it would come to my ear at some point of time. But was I all that? The answer was no. I was not a drama queen. I was crying. I couldn't stop, my tears. I was not trying to crave attention, because when I said that, no, I don't want to come out with y'all, I don't want to watch a movie, I just want to be on my own, it was not because I wanted to gain attention, but because I was frightened to be out there. Now, that fear, it actually, I'll just give you an instance. I went for a play to watch a play, and the play had the ending would be suggested by the audience. The play went on to a mode where someone was really struggling, and eventually there were other characters. One was Rajinikanth, one was this, one was that. So this person who was so frightened, was very frightened and terrible, was going through a terrible experience to be there, had Rajnikant and etc. in the company. And so then it stopped there, and then the artist asked the audience, so what would you all like the ending to be? I was in the peak of my depression, and I raised somewhere, my hand went up and they gave me the mic. I said, I just wish someone would come and put a hand around that person and say, I'm there for you. That was my soulful, what I really wanted, something that I never got. And the entire auditorium went booing. It was like just booing. I got so frightened, I sat down. Even the person who was there with me, somebody then very close to me, giggled because look at what she said, everybody booed. I was so frightened and I sat there. And later, the responses went. And then the response that was accepted was Rajnikant would come in, take a cigarette, throw it up in the air, and say, Enna Macha. And then both of them would look and they would do one dance, like, some lungi dance. And then everybody lives happily ever after. Everybody cheered that response. That was a moment of realization for me. People wanted comedy. People wanted to laugh. People are not interested in my story or what I go through. So, Anita, you are alone in this battle. That was a life-changing moment. And another time, a person very dear to me, she told me something. Anita, we all go around trying to achieve so many things, but the true achievement of what we really own is what nobody can even come and take a part of it because you earned it. That is what you have with you. And I asked her what it was, and she said, that is your pain and sadness. Nobody will want to come and claim even a portion of it. Rest of it, everybody would like to be in the shadow. This, you will be alone. So what you need to do is you need to use this sadness into your advantage. Every disadvantage, make it as an advantage and go ahead. So all these, there were people there who would give me these probably one-liners. I used to sit and write it down because at that moment of time, it gave me that strength. I noted it down and then I went ahead. So I decided, let people judge me, but I need to win my battle and stay alive. From there, I would like to just take on, where did it all start? The second point, please. So it is, what is it that I believed until I went through this? What I believed is what I saw and heard. I would go back to the times when I from Kerala, there were movies like Talavattam, then Tanmatra, both the movies were of Mohanlal, and it is all about mental health. And what is depicted in that is a person who is taken to a mental hospital, that Ulladakam in a hospital uniform, they are put in chains, people are like literally, their lips and walking around and these things. And at times they're given shock. So mental health means nothing but mad. So there are times when, the actor probably would sit down, become violent and all. And here I was a person who was not feeling violence within me, but I was a person who was cringing and sitting on the floor and crying in the dark. And there was a time when someone in my family opened the door. Why are you sitting in the dark? I said, no, please don't switch on the light. Or what happened? And switched on all the lights. That light was blinding to me. And I said, switch off the light. I screamed, why are you yelling? So what I started, and then this constant, telling me that something is wrong, you're turning mad, look at your eye. You're mad, you're mad, you're mad. And you start believing that, yes, you start believing that, am I turning mad? Would I be taken in that hospital uniform? Will I be put on, that electric shock? Will I be put in the chains? Because this is what the movie depicted. And my people also believed it. And then they also told me that, yeah, you go to a doctor, but then, all these medicines are very addictive. Finally, it will get into your brain. You'll become addictive. Your kidney will go, your this will go, that will go. So even though I started taking medication, in 1 week's time, I felt better. And then they said, you're looking better now, no, stop the medicine. So then I stopped the medicine, but it had its own effect. Today, I realize it was not side effect. It was an adverse effect because it was done wrong. So I went through several psychiatrists and I was asked to stop because no, psychiatry is considered a taboo. What will people say if you're sitting outside a psychiatry, a psychiatry department? in the hospital. If somebody, you're a known person, so if someone sees you there, so what will people say? So the fear of what people say was instilled in me, injected in me, and I got into that phase of hiding. Because, sometimes we say, oh, so and so person went through mental health disorder, but nobody knew about it. They never spoke. Now they're coming out, oh, for publicity. Even when they choose to come out, we try to term them as now they're doing it for publicity. How harsh and how ruthless can this world be? So I went on seeing psychiatrists. So it was like, I see somebody, I stop, I take medicines, I stop. Who was at fault? Here, I was a person who had no clue what was going on with me. People were telling me so many things, hearsay, and everybody was a Google doctor. They would read what they want, what they chose to read, they read. They didn't read a full article. They would choose to read, and then they would know, they had more knowledge about medicines than what I knew, in spite of me visiting doctors. So be it Seroquel or Q-tip or this and that, people, oh, I think you need to take Q-tip, because I see that you have bipolar disorder. Oh, I think you have manic disorder. So these terms were terms that I had no clue about, but people branded me. She had manic disorder, she had bipolar disorder, this, until I reached a peak of, it's like you climb the cliff each time. I've written a book, and in that book, this is exactly what I felt. I fell into the ditch and I struggle and I climb up. When I reached the top of the cliff, somebody would step on my fingers and I would fall back. Again, I have to climb. And like that, I was totally lost. And then I came to Hyderabad and I met a psychiatrist and I decided, anyway, I'm going down the ditch. Let me go down the ditch, listening to people who are actually learned, literate, educated, and experts in the field. I'm not going to even let people know what I'm going through. Silently, I went. And with the help of my doctor, psychiatrist is a medical doctor. He's not a person who's just totally jobless sitting over there and, with a stethoscope and, prescribe. No, this is what I was made to believe. But no, he or she is a medical doctor. Then I started interacting with counselors, with psychologists. And it's only later on that I came to know, that is through my recovery stage, I had a good team. That is, there are several people out there. I would also like to throw light on the quack psychologists, quack counselors. When I say quack, I'm not talking about the people who have studied and completed their education, done their, they have spent enough time through the counseling, through the studies, submitting their papers, understanding, and people who have registered for what they have with passion in what they want to do. I'm talking about the people who are totally jobless, sitting at home, do not have a degree. Oh, I think, I'm feeling bored. Let me just do psychology because that's the easiest. So people who get into it like that, and then just without even getting licensed, straight away, they start their counseling career. And there are also, I know a person very dear to me. I'm not mentioning the relationship because then it will be a bomb explosion in my family. But I'm just saying, she got into the habit of listening to, because totally, like, you have a lot of time at hand, so people tend to call you and share their problems with you. Listening to problems, slowly you start giving expert advice. Advice is the only thing that is totally free in this world, so it's plenty you can give, whether it's working or no. And so once this kind of an advice happened, slowly people started saying that so and so person is good at counseling, and slowly she became a self-proclaimed counselor. I would call that a quack. But what you need to understand is that you need to have the right doctor, right psychologist, right counselor, and together you can. Now, what I would, I understand that participants have questions. We will be opening the session for questions. So once I'm done with what I have to say, thank you. Can we have the next point, please? Now, when I went through depression, I have recovered now. I'm also off my medications. So how long did I go through medication? I went through medication for around 4 to 5 years. For 4 to 5 years, I went through medication. I did not stop my medication. I had proper discussions with my doctor. And slowly, once he felt that I could taper my medications. My medications were tapered and tapered. And today it has reached a point where I'm no longer on medications, but still in touch with my doctor. When I need, help, it guides me. And same with my counselor. Now, with regard to what else is required for mental health, I would say a support system. Frankly speaking, family wise, I had no support system at all. My only support system, I would say, was two innocent children, that is my daughter and my son. Today, both of them, one is 21 and the other is 17. Both of them today are my support system because they have seen their mother go through. They were the best that could happen to me because they did not know what their mother was going through, but they did one thing. They gave me a hug whenever I needed. They let me hug them or even lie next to them when I never told them I'm frightened, but I would say, Neha, can I hug you? Ah, yeah, Ma. She'll be busy with something, but she let me hug her. My son, whenever he got this chance, he would hold my cheek. That gave me a lot of, I would say a lot of confidence, and the fact that I'm not alone, they are there. So I would say the touch that they had given me, that was my support system. Now, the distance that we have to cover to bridge the gaps, as what is the gap that we are talking about? A person who goes through something like this, I was also there. What I went through is being vulnerable to vultures who are out there. Now, vultures can be in the form of men as well as women. Now, there are times when there were certain women who knew that I was a so and so in my domain of work. They actually knew that I was going through something like this. They would ask questions, but why are you going? They understood the secrets that I had. And literally, they would share the secret out to somebody else. And they said, do you know she's going through something like this? Yeah, she's going through depression. So I'm the one who's taking care of her. Do you know she told me that she feels like jumping off from this one, something I never did say. But then they knew that a person who goes through depression probably may feel like that. And they made it out to be that I had, tendencies of suicide. In fact, I did not ever tell them that, but they started spreading rumors like that because I think they could leverage on the weakness of somebody else. So this was done by a woman, and she ensured that she was seen wherever I was, and she ensured, she told people that she was the one who was supporting me in my depression, which was absolutely wrong. Slowly, after I started coming out of it, when I was on medication, she had no clue I was going to the doctor. When I got to a level of where I could stand up, the first thing I learned to say was, no, enough. I do not want you in my life. Which means I reached a stage of making choices for myself and choices that were wise. So that is why we need support from medical and experts. That is why we need. So the distance we have yet to cover is huge. People are coming out and speaking about depression, but even now, that is branded as people coming out for publicity, or people, oh, she's really courageous, huh? Look at her, she's bold enough. I'm not courageous, neither am I bold, but I'm only here, trust me, to let people know that don't treat people who go through depression in a way that they end up, can we have point 4? They end up reaching a stage of wanting to end their life. Now, what makes me say that? Because yes, I tried ending my life. Now, what happened that day was that I was in that, that I would say that one day I was at my worst of, I cannot, enough, I'm being judged. Y'all are not helping me. I want to be hugged. Just someone to tell me I'm there for you. That peak. And then I heard a lot of judgments, and I would say feathers being put on my cap as, look at her, she's not fit to be a wife, she's not fit to be a mother, something I don't think. So I'm just pushed towards the end of the cliff. And at that point of time, I don't know what came about. I got a panic attack, and I just told myself, I want to disappear from here. I did not tell myself that I want to end my life. I did not say that I want to die, but the thought was, I want to disappear from here. Now, where can I go and disappear? Can I go and lie down under the bed? They'll pull me out. They will tell me, why are you showing this drama? If I were to say that I'm just leaving the house and going, then where do I go? I don't have, neither do I have the money. Do I need? And I don't feel safe because there are men out there. The minute they see you as a woman, I'm not safe. So where do I go? I want to disappear. All I could think of was to end my life. And I don't remember anything post that. But I woke up to, I say this on several platforms, I woke up to the tiny hands of my son. It only fit so much. I still remember. And the warmth of his hand that said, "What happened, Amma?" without knowing what had happened. I was really numb and I could just, tears were rolling down my eyes. I couldn't say anything. My tongue was, it was like as if I had so many injections when you go to a dental, this one. My whole mouth felt so numb, no feeling. But I just felt the warmth of his hand. And that warmth of his hand was my second life. And what I would like to tell people who even go through such a situation is that it is that, I would say, a moment that happens when you feel you want to disappear. And but not everybody will be lucky like how I was to appear once again. This happened at a time when both my children were in school, and today my daughter has gone to college pursuing her higher studies, and my son is going to complete his 12th. They have had several sports achievements, music achievements, stories to say where they go through a lot of emotional disturbances, maybe because of their friends, some bullies, some the pressures of study. But I'm alive to talk to them and be there for them. And that is the beauty of staying alive, to live through this. And not everybody will get a second chance. I would tell anybody who is going through something like this, stop relying on people who tell you that mental health is a taboo, or stop listening to them that what if people say. Trust me, people are not going to be there with you when you really go down the ditch, but they are there to push you down the ditch. So who you need to rely on is the right people who have the education, certification, the license, the experts who are here to help you. Rely on them like I did, and rely on people who do not get into your personal space. I've had one or two friends who have not asked me what led to depression. Who is your husband okay? Are you having a good physical relationship? Or people try to get into your personal space, even your bedroom, to know what is happening inside. They are curious to know what is happening in your life because everybody likes storytelling. Like food, clothing, shelter, storytelling is another basic survival that people need, right? They need to stay engaged. So don't rely on people who are curious to know about your life. But there would be some people who say, Anita, I don't want to know anything, but if you need help, I'm there. If you want me to just listen to you, I'm there to listen to you. And there will be, one or two people. You just need people to just listen to the fact, I'm not feeling too good. Someone who says, what could I do to make you feel better? Not somebody who asks you, what is going on in your personal life? Depression, hey, it's all you're feeling. And please avoid people who try to downplay your feelings. This is something that please do not know. When I talk about the distance to be covered, please do not downplay. Now, if I say that I'm feeling frightened, the fact is I am feeling frightened. Now, what can we do to make sure that she doesn't feel frightened? Don't say, oh, it's all you're feeling. I'm feeling sad. Oh, it's all you're feeling. The fact is I'm feeling sad. What can we do to make you feel better? What is it that led to you feeling sad? Can I help you? Or if you feel you cannot talk to me, come, let's go to an expert. Let's go for counseling. Stop telling, no, don't go to counselors. All these people, it's all fake, or medicines, you will get addicted. Don't put fear in the person who is going through mental health disturbances or something. There are several reasons for mental health. As far as I understand today, some could be genetic, some could be a reason over a period of time, some could be a hormonal imbalance. There could be certain instances. Now, I'm not qualified to speak about, but my doctor explained all this to me. So that's when I came to know I did not have a genetic problem, but people had people known to me said that, oh, must be genetic. Your grandfather one day was very sad. I remember your father, when he went through a very difficult situation, I remember he was also sad. Sadness is different. Depression is different. Sadness is something that happens at that momentary, but you come out of it. But depression, it stays with you. You want to come out, but it's like an enemy that just hugged you and is not leaving you. You wriggle out of it. Let me go, but this enemy chooses to hold you. And to let go of this enemy, you need somebody stronger, and that is when you need a doctor and you need an expert to help you. So please understand what you need to do, who you need to rely on, And if I came out of my mental health disturbances, it is because I made the right choice of relying on the right people, relying on people who had the qualification to speak about it, who had the expertise to deal with it. Because in all that, there is a science, there is a strategy, there is a way, there is a method over and above. And this is not known to people who just read Google and understand what they want to see or hear. So I would really hope that today, whoever is a participant here, work together and stop looking at people who go through mental health as nutcases or people who are mad. They're not mad. They're just people who need a hand holding. It is like when we go through, if I feel dizzy, people say, why don't you take some kind of vitamin supplement? Or why don't you drink ORS? Like that, we just need a ORS or a vitamin supplement in the terms of medication, and we will be back. We are talented people. We are efficient people. And I would also like to ask all of you seated here today, when we say that life is changing in mental health, let me ask you this question. I may not be young enough to, propose to anybody online right now, but still, now that you know that I went through something like this, how many of you out there would let your son marry me without even thinking twice? How many of you, yes, whatever I am doing in my career, apart from that, suppose if I were approaching you for a job saying that I went through clinical depression not once, thrice, I would like to be on this position, I'm applying for this position. How many of you would give me that job without thinking twice? How many of you would let me work as a school teacher to look after children without thinking twice? This is the social stigma that we are facing. I'm seated here once again, not for publicity. As I speak, as a classical dancer, as this, I know that several people are going to judge me once again and saying that she's doing this for publicity. I request anybody of you who have a disturbance, come out, speak out. It takes not courage, it is literally getting out of your skin and shame to stand and say this. But the only reason why I'm saying this is because I do not want anybody to end their life because they didn't have anybody. You are not alone. People like me are out there who have survived it, and we understand. And there are doctors and experts who are willing to and ready to hold your hands. We just need to approach them, work as a team together, and we can come out of this strong. I'm a survivor, and I will hope and continue my work to ensure that several people survive. If we have had 1.58 lakhs and now we've gone to 1.60 lakhs of people ending their lives, let us not say that if only that person spoke to me. This person was a beautiful person. Oh, she was so nice. And if fully she spoke to me, trust me, people who take that decision of just disappearing, they tried their best to let you know. Maybe you did not hear, maybe you judged, or maybe you even chose to downplay their feelings. But just be there the right way, and we can bring down the numbers. Thank you all very much. Can we go on to the next slide, please? So what I have spoken to, can we have all the points displayed? A quick summary on what I have spoken about. That depression does not mean life ends there. I have come out of it, and I've done so much post coming back to life, my second chance, which again, I say, don't ever try to end your life because you may not be lucky to get a second chance. I'm here, lucky enough to tell you don't do that. And I guess that is my purpose today. Expert help is required and not perceptions through hearsay. Don't depend on people who are Google doctors or people who speak about their experience. And so person saw a doctor, and that person, maybe that doctor was not right, or maybe it was a quack, or maybe somebody who, they went to one doctor and who is not a specialist. So it can happen. Then personal space as well as conversations. Respect another person's personal. They can't see the slides. I'm getting a response as to the slide cannot be seen. Okay, I do not know why, but these are the summary. The first is depression does not mean life ends there. Then the second is expert help is required and not perceptions through hearsay. Third, what I spoke about is respect the personal space. If somebody says that I am not feeling too good, but why is everything going on in your married life? Or if a teenager is supposed to come and say, I'm not feeling too good. Oh, are you having a boyfriend? And especially in schools, I've come, students I've interacted with, they have openly told me that the minute we go through some kind of an issue, immediately teachers brand them. Maybe you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend. Stop doing that. Stop seeing everything as as a boyfriend, girlfriend, physical relationship. As teenagers today, they don't know where to draw. Stop branding them. Stop branding them. We are grown-ups. I think I have always spoken that enough of guarding everybody else's virginity. Try to be realistic about it. Understand there are several reasons why we feel sad. It is not all sexual. Please understand that. And stop getting into personal space, and also have more conversations that are unbiased. Prevention of suicide is very important. For that, we need to be empathetic and show some compassion. Don't talk about the minute. Now, when I tried ending my life, immediately, oh, she has suicidal tendencies. Do you even know what a tendency is? Do you know what happened that day? Do you know what I experienced at that point of time? The minute I come out of it, oh, she came out of it. She just wanted to frighten people. Even then, when I saw death and I came out of it, even then they didn't stop branding me or stop judging me. But thanks to my son's hand, he gave me the courage. He was a tiny fellow, but his palm, the warmth gave me that courage. It's okay, let people do what they want, but I will live for them. And today I am proud to say that my children stand with me and they understand what mental health is, and they will be there for other people. Point five, yeah, is that mental health should be given equal importance as physical health. It's not important only to become 0 calories or download an app where you count the calories, intake of calories. It's very important to know that for my mental health, what am I doing? What is the level of stress that I'm taking? Have somebody that you speak to, have something that you do for yourself. And in my case, I love dance. I love music. So my son introduced me to Alexa, and he introduced me to something that there is piano music playing in the house every time, So I may not be listening to that music, but that music has a therapy. So that is something nice. Reading a book, dedicating time for that. All this helps you to work on your mental health and have conversations, have good friends. I've got a very good friend in my life, and he's been my life. And we go for our runs, we go for our walks, and I've got several students of mine who are my soul. And so together we are one family. We understand each other. So I'm sure there are people out there for you too. So enjoy living. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. It was an incredible session. Thank you for talking about your experience. Thank you for helping so many of us. And even after the videos will go out, I'm sure each one of the viewers are going to take a lot of value out of it. It could not have been more relatable to the audience, ma'am.
Thank you. So I just would like to say, Preeti, my book, I'm not selling my book here, but I've written this book, To Win Your Battle, Stay Alive. It's available on Amazon. I've not written my story, but I've written on ways I have come out of it and what I understood about expert help and why it is required, and what the support system probably needs to do. So if it will help anybody, please go ahead and do get your copy. So that would really be resourceful to you.
Definitely. We'll give the link, if possible, in the chat box. And also, when we'll send an email out to all the registrants, we'll drop the link in the email as well.
Yes, thank you.
Before we move to the Q&A, I would like to request the audience to take 30 seconds to answer a poll for us. The purpose of the poll is to help us understand you a little better, so we can better curate the topics that we bring to you. Meanwhile, I would like to quote a poem while we move towards question answer round. This poem is written by Shanti ma'am from Roshni Trust. She's the trust in Roshni Trust. I hope while reciting this, I do justice to with what depth she has written this poem. When the mind plays truant, the heart heavy, black clouds surround, the stormy waves lash. No shore, no comfort. Why? You shun me deep down to drown in depression. My right colors in bubbles scatter. Momentarily they glow. Disappear into thin air when depression envelops you. Cave into a shell. There is hope. These are beautiful lines written by Shanti ma'am. Uh, there are more such informative and educational and beautiful lines on our social media. You can go and look for that, share with people who would really take value out of this. Now, we will take Q&A. We'll take questions from chat box. If any of you want to ask the question live from ma'am, you can use the virtual raise hand option, and we will allow you to come on video or audio and ask the questions live. They're asking about the name of the book. If my team can quickly put the name of the book in the chat box.
It is To Win Your Battles, Stay Alive.
Yeah,
this is the book. To Win Your Battles, Stay Alive. My name was Anita Peter earlier. I changed it legally to Anita MuktaaShourya now. So if you see the author name is Anita Peter, it's the same.
Sure. Okay. So Ms. Divya asked, how to stop mind chattering?
This is something that I would say I used it after a lot of struggle. Whenever there is this conflict that's happening in my mind, I started doing menial tasks. I felt like I like gardening, or I like tidying up the house, or dusting, or washing dishes, or even folding clothes. I started doing things like that because I know that is something I have to do, and I started keeping my mind engaged. So if there are bad thoughts going, I immediately start dusting the place. Or so, but at the same time, see, being a classical dancer, I could not play music and practice my dance because that requires a lot of calmness. Your mind should be free and all that. So I could not put my brain to use automatically what my hand can do without my brain working much, because I was getting tired here. And when that tiredness increases, my physically I'm going down. So something that did not require a lot of thinking, but just simply, you disconnect from here and your hands just go busy. And then when you see you've completed something, you start self-appreciating yourself. So don't just do things that is going to get you appreciation in society or with somebody else. Do something that is you can appreciate yourself for. I washed one glass, well and good. I did dusting, well and good. So keep your mind engaged that way with menial things.
Sure. Ms. Kanika has a question. We can. Team, can you please unmute Kanika? Yeah.
Yeah, hi. I mean, I heard the whole story and what you've gone through, and you've had some courage. And thank you for being so vulnerable and so open and letting the whole audience know what you've gone through and been there. But I just wanted to ask you, how long did it take for you to overcome all of this? As in, is there a period, or of course, it was a choice with a period that you took upon yourself to get out of all this mess, that you had undergone. But I just want to know, what is the time frame that you actually took to get out of all of this?
The time frame, if I had got the right help and support, the time frame would have been much lesser. I started feeling this, I would say, in 2004 onwards. I started having these symptoms. It went on thrice. I went through. The reason I went through it thrice is because I did not complete my treatment of medication. I stopped it abruptly, and then I started, distracting. People said, "No, you just distract yourself. You will get better. Just go for a Zumba. Go for this. You will feel better." So I started doing that without completing my treatment. So it continued, and the period increased. But once I went to the doctor, I took his help. I continued my medication without taking a call myself. The period became, I would say, from 2016 onwards, I started my correct treatment. 2016, now it is 2022. I stopped my medication in 2021.
And you haven't seen it bouncing back ever?
No, I've not seen it bouncing back. And nevertheless, there are times, there are situations that the situations I would not say are still in my life. Because earlier, people console me that everybody goes through such situations. Whose life is happy? Look at everybody goes through similar situations. They kept telling me that this is all that was meant for you in your life. But I was not a person who believed that life is misery and should not be lived. And in the end, we all are going to die. So why don't we all start dying a death every day? I was a person who believed in life and living. That is where the conflict happened. But then the day I made right choices in my life by saying, no, these are the people who I want in my life. And these are the people who I will say, it's okay. Our path is different. Let's walk different paths. I did that. And then healing started. So you cannot heal if you are still in the same rut and situation. You need to make changes to your situation. It's not that situations will be there and we need to change our way of viewing the situation alone. No, because sometimes my views are very different. That's why the situations last. So if you cannot find peace in your mind and you cannot deal with the situation, say that this situation is not doing good for me. Now I need to walk away from this situation. There is no harm. It is your right to be happy in life, right?
Of course. Yeah. So it was your presence, it was your knowing, as well as listening to your body in terms of what you need to do to overcome whatever you've gone through. Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's an extremely bold choice. And yeah, I mean, your journey has been like an inspiration for many,
Trust
many.
me, this kind of a wisdom would not come to me if I did not take medication. Because medication is a huge support in some cases when you know that medication is like I suppose if I was not taking medication and my sadness is way beyond and weighing me down, I will only think on ways of not going ahead. I want to give up. But medication reduced that feeling of mine, and that was giving me the help and the this one to just reason out with myself, or even to be able to think rationally. So at times you need to take medical help.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for sharing everything. And thank you for being that you are wonderful
Thank you.
and kind and generous. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your question. So there are a lot of other questions coming in the chat box.
Yes.
Mr. Nagendra says, how to avoid a person who does not understand me?
Mr. Nagendra, I would give this based on my expertise after dealing with a person who could not understand me at all. Okay. So, first is you have a dialogue, you have a conversation. There are a lot of people, we don't understand disturbed narcissists. I would say you just try and understand. There are people who only see themselves, who only understand themselves, and who feel that they are right. And the minute you even talk to them and let them know, and if they see that, yes, they could be wrong, they immediately play victim and throw the complete blame on you, that you are the reason, and make you feel guilty about it. So there are times, there are people who you cannot reason out with. Now, when you cannot reason out with them, it is good that two people together go for counseling. Have an expert, without bias talk, not a family member, because sometimes then it can be biased. Go to a person who's not biased, go for counseling. Now, if that also is not helping and you're still miserable with that person, learn to bid the person, but in a very dignified and respectable way. That is, you tell the person, see, we have the interaction that we have is not productive and it's making me miserable each time, and it's both of us are being miserable. So happy living your life, happy living my life. If it's professional, strictly professional. If it's a relationship, you know what to do. But always don't just give up easily. Try as much as you can, and when you still feel it's not leading anywhere, learn to walk away from what is bringing misery to your life.
Mr. Uday says, if you are a multitasking person and wants to stay constant at all the fields, what will be your suggestion?
See, earlier I was doing everything and trying to, excel in everything that I did. That got me very tired because I did not have any help. So now what I've done is I am working one thing at a time, like my dance, my corporate life, the talks that I give, and at times there's also certain like theater work and all that. I don't take all the assignments together. When I'm taking something, I'm very systematic now. My calendar is written. If something is there, if it's maybe a clash, I just say no to one. So the greatest, I would say, the word no is the biggest power that we have. Learn to know when to say no. If you know that, then I think you can multitask. I still do everything and I'm able to do justice to whatever I do, but I'm just taking it one step at a time, not taking everything on my plate. It's like a buffet. You see a buffet, you feel you can eat the entire thing and you take as much, fill the plate, but you end up wasting. So you need to say, next time I come for the buffet, I'll try that. If it is available, it's fine.
Um, Mr. Sharad says, I invented anti-suicide fan rod to prevent suicide by use of ceiling fans. The most used means to end life. What are your views on that?
A person who wants to end life will find different ways of ending life. Let me say it that way, because definitely I would say, instead of not keeping the fan there, let everything be available, but try to empower people with the choice that I will not end my life. And for that, we need a lot of talks, lot of acceptance, a lot of understanding, acceptance, and we need to lead the way to recovery. And that leading the way to recovery is, recently there was a doctor who ended her life, okay, working in a corporate hospital, not in Hyderabad but elsewhere. Now immediately it was, oh my god, she was going through so much stress, she was going through this, fully she had talked. Why do we have to see? One aspect is, we know there is a lot of stress at work. What is it at work we are doing to make sure that people don't go through stress? In school, we say a child ended their life at 10th standard, 11th standard, 12th. Oh, a lot of pressure of this. They wanted, just because you did not get marks, why did you end? Why did she end her life? That is because everybody is hounding the child. It is a competition. Look at your neighbor. So as parents, we do it unknowingly. So we all are contributing factors to pushing a person to the brink of taking that decision. So I think we need to understand and not be contributing factors, and be very open and non-judgmental, without getting into personal spaces of, are you having an affair? Are you this? Immediately doing character assassination. So be more open and accepting as a society. But it's a very good initiative you started. It just probably needs to be tweaked to a point of, reaching people to a level of empowerment where they say that, no, this is not a choice I would go for.
Okay. So there's a long question here,
Yes.
and I think it's very relevant.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think financial independence influence choices we make during depression? If we have to succumb people in life for certain dependency, parents' vulnerability for our choice, how did your parents support when you are dealing with depression?
It's a very, very relevant, good question. I will just tell you a quote. A lot of people told me, money cannot buy happiness. But they did not complete the statement, lack of money can bring misery. Okay, so financial independence is the key, not only for a man, but for a woman also. The main reason why I went through depression is because lack of financial independence. That I was working, but I was never bothered about finance or anything. Several times I did a lot of work for free because food, clothing, shelter is taken care of, but I was just working for my passion. But with no financial independence, I could always be pushed around by somebody or someone. And even to go for my treatment, I had to rely on somebody for that 500 rupees of consultation. Why consultation? You're just wasting money. If I go for counseling, 500 rupees or maybe 1,000 rupees for an hour, then it goes to the next hour. All right. So after that, oh, you're wasting money. I was fed up of hearing like I'm wasting money, wasting money, wasting money. And then that guilt of wasting money, I stopped going to for counseling. I stopped going to doctor. My medicine is so expensive. I stopped having my medicine. But then when I became financially independent, see, I was even able to complete my treatment. I didn't rely on anybody for that. So it's not only for mental health. I think for your basic human respect, you need financial independence. So please work on that, everybody.
There's so many appreciation. People are appreciating for you to open up, for you to share so precisely, so nicely about your experience. And from that, they are taking a lot of value out of this particular session. There, if you read through it, ma'am, there's so many appreciation for you. There's so many encouragements. We also feel that yes, we are doing something right. Roshni Trust is doing, definitely from the last 3 decades, they have come across and helped so many. There's a question: does Vishwa have an anti-suicide helpline? In which states Vishwa work? So Vishwa, along with Roshni Trust has a suicide helpline. The details would be there towards the end of the session. You can contact Roshni Trust for any counseling related issues. They are available 24/7. And Vishwa is born out of Hyderabad and is open to the entire country.
That's really nice. See, when you decide to end your life, uh, the last thing you think of is actually taking a phone and making that call. That's a mistake that I did because I did not know about these helplines, frankly speaking. So now that it is all out in the open, I think every person who is attending this needs to spread the word around that there is a helpline. And if this thought comes about, make that one call, because staying alive is what we all need to do. If I had died that day, I wouldn't be doing this session here. And I don't know what would have happened. A lot of people speak about, when we go to heaven. But I always remember Steve Jobs. If heaven is the target that we all have, we still are frightened to die. So there should be a reason, right? Because there is so many things, a job or purpose that we would leave undone. And that's not why we were born. So never ever take your life.
Yes. I would also thank Mr. Sharad for joining this session. We received your mail also, Mr. Sharad. You are doing a great job, and we will definitely connect post this session.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
There is one appreciation I would like to state. Anita ji, I cannot applaud you enough for your courage, your bravery, your honesty, and most importantly, bless your wonderful children for the love, the support, the care that they have given you. Stay blessed always.
Thank you so much.
We are talking about hope through action. And like in the beginning of the session, I mentioned about Roshni Trust, how from the last 3 decades, they are actually into action and not just creating hope or not just creating awareness. It's a part of it so that you reach out to more and more people. They are aware to help themselves also through that awareness created. But they are also they are also into action. Psychiatry at Your Doorstep was what was the initiative taken by Roshni Trust, which was supported by biological events through a fundraiser that was on Vishwa. And now they have rolled out that initiative, and there are vans in Hyderabad that is there to support people. There's another initiative, and this particular week we are emphasizing on this a lot. Roshni Trust has been conducting free psychiatry camps for the underprivileged. All of us know the importance of mental health, know that, okay, there is so much of awareness now that we know that if something is going wrong, we can, seek a support. We can get an online counseling. We know these free counseling numbers. We can talk to them, but the underprivileged don't know that they themselves are going through such issues. They are committing suicide. They are jumping off. I don't want to get into how, but we don't even come to know about those incidents, because we feel it's very common for them to do it. It's very common. It just comes up on the newspaper. The underprivileged goes through this a lot, and they do not even have the money to seek a mental health advice. And even the stigma of mental health is very high in that particular sector of the society. People will say, okay, you are not focusing more on job, you are not earning, you are not getting money for your house, you're not taking care of wife, your children, or even the wife, if she is not taking care of the family. There are a lot of stigmas attached. They do not understand the essence, the whole issue of the mental health problem, right? And Roshni Trust is from the last 2.5, 3 decades. They are rolling out this campaign, and they need help. They need support to make sure that these camps are continuously being taken to the outskirts, to the underprivileged sections of society in Hyderabad. Uh, there are tax benefits associated, and not just for this benefit. Please come forward, support this cause, feel great in yourself. We all have supported Roshni Trust in their cause. We all have, and we feel great that what they are doing, and by just donating us a very small amount, we feel associated with the cause, and we feel good. I would like you, even if you cannot donate, share it with your friends and family who can donate for this particular cause. Help them roll out this initiative. Along with this, if a corporate, if a CSR organization, if you're part of a company who wants to roll out their CSR activities, if you support this cause, there are free psychiatry or psychological workshops by Roshni Trust for your employees. So come be part of this initiative. We want to make sure that this particular initiative is seeing the is continue it continues to help these underprivileged society in and around Hyderabad. And if you want to join hands with Roshni Trust, you can contact them for any city that you want in. So please visit our website www.vishwa.org. There all the information that you need to know before taking your decision to support the cause. Everything is transparent. Vishwa, we stand for integrity. We stand for transparency. So any initiative that comes on our website that we support has been, we make sure that the change makers are genuine, the change makers, the initiatives, the fundraiser are actually being there implemented at the ground. So with this, I would like to thank Anita ma'am. I would like to thank Roshni Trust for such a wonderful session. I would like to thank Shanti ma'am uh, for for having Anita ma'am on Vishwa Talks. So it was a relatable session until now, and the value that has been taken out of this session is immense. Thank you so much. There are other such initiatives on Vishwa.org for other causes like art and culture. We are supporting building of step wells, documenting and building of step wells in Telangana, where uh, uh, where an organization called Hyderabad Design Forum has come forward. It is going to restore water. It's going to end the water crisis. It's going to help in water conservation, and which is a very important. And these are ancient step wells built decades, centuries ago by our ancestors. They knew the importance of water conservation before we knew. So we need to revive these step wells. Please visit our website. There are various other causes that we are supporting. I do not want to take your time and go through each one of them. You can support children living with HIV. You can support old age, the elderly living in old age, and a lot more. Thank you so much for your time. I wish everybody if they have a very happy weekend, and share today's event videos that is live on our YouTube channel with your friends and family, so that they also take the value out of this session. Please follow Vishwa India on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you, Anita ma'am. Thank you for being so open. Thank you for being so frank and honest about your experience and helping each one of us.
I really thank Vishwa Talks for inviting me in. And I saw in the chat box that several of them would like to, know about me or anything. If they get in touch with Vishwa Talks, please Vishwa Talks probably will guide you on how to reach me. And yeah, let's spread the word around and be there for people without judgment.
Next week, next Saturday, we have the event with Teachers Plus. It's about incorporating peace into our schools and beyond. In today's time, I believe it is very much important for us to inculcate this education right from the beginning in our children. So link would be in the chat box to sign up for this session. Do make your children, do make sure the parents and the teachers sign up for this session. Thank you so much.